All right, so my name is Chris Ortiz. It's Ortiz. The last name is, first name is Chris. Born September 9th, 1982, here in Lawrence, Kansas. I know I'm old, Sam, shut up. Going to go ahead and read a little bit from the family heritage background information or questionnaire here. What is your ethnic background? My family is a little odd. Most of my family, from what I know, is from Mexico. We're not 100% sure where we crossed the border in the 1920s. I believe it was from the state of Chihuahua up to Texas, but apparently my great-grandfather was supposedly from Spain, went to Mexico and married a lady and then came up. And that was my great-grandfather on my grandfather's side, so my grandfather's dad. But my grandmother's parents are both from Mexico, so I guess I'm on that side 3/4 Mexican on that side and 1/4 Spanish. But I don't know. It's weird. But I'm technically half Hispanic myself. My mom is French, German, and Irish, and so I still consider myself half Hispanic. It is a little interesting. My family came over since the late 1919s or 19 teens, early 20s, I guess. They came over as part of the... Actually, I'm going to move this a little bit closer. Oh, maybe not. They came over as part of the immigrant process in the 20s to go through and work on the railroads and the cement factories in southern Kansas. The story goes on my dad's side. Is my great-grandfather, my grandfather's dad, came from Spain, went down to Mexico, married a woman down there, and they came up to the United States. My grandfather was thus born here in Chanute, Kansas. My grandmother's parents, both, as far as we know, came from Mexico and came here to the States. And she was born in Chanute, Kansas. My grandfather's dad, however, was, like I said, a member of the railroad workers and was laying down tracks in the early to mid-20s, excuse me, from going from Kansas to Missouri, and as the story goes, ended up turning up MIA, or missing in action, I guess you can say, from working in the railroads. He actually had left in Missouri to come back to Kansas to visit family, but was thus robbed and murdered on his way back. And my grandfather actually never knew his dad. He was too young at the time, and I guess thought the whole entire time that that his dad had abandoned him and just left. And it wasn't until sometime later that, well, I guess my grandfather never knew that his dad was murdered. This was actually told to me by my Aunt Terry. Mm-hmm. It was Aunt Terry, who lives out in Denver, Colorado, when we were out there in this past September. She's the one who informed me of that. There's only one person of the first generation Mexican Americans of my family who are still alive on my grandmother's side. That's my great Aunt Esther. She is, I believe, 93 this year. She still owns and runs a business down in Chanute, Kansas. And then on my grandfather's side, my grandpa Vincent Ortiz, or Vincente Ortiz, he went through and passed away, I think, in 97. My grandmother, Juanita, passed away, what was that, 2010? Something like that. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but my grandpa Vincent, he still has a brother still alive, I believe, who lives down in Oklahoma, and his name is Bobby, Uncle Bobby, great Uncle Bobby. But my grandma and grandpa had, let me think, 6 kids. There was Eddie, who I believe is the oldest, then my dad, and then there was Terry, Patty, Carla, and then Roger. Unfortunately, Roger has passed away a couple of years ago. He passed away of cancer. And so there's only 5 kids left. Both my grandparents are gone. My dad still lives here in town, which is actually quite nice that everybody still who's alive is still around here.